Hey there, what if I told you a story about an awfully rich man who was up to no good and so ideologically complex and filled with contradictions? You might name someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, all in all a good answer, but in this video I'll be talking about a man possibly way more sinister. All of this makes Elon Musk look like a child in front of him. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, glad you could come. Peter Thiel is an interesting guy. A man worth $20 billion and openly gay, and outrightly saying that I'm proud to be gay, in a Republican rally, which is a bit absurd considering the track record of how well the conservatives are treating gay people right now.
I am proud to be gay. I am proud to be a Republican. But most of all, I am proud to be an American.
The whole people on the spectrum supporting Trump is an interesting topic, and I will certainly make a future video on that pretty soon. Let's just recap on what our boy Peter Thiel has been doing as of now. He has criticized the women's right to vote, wants to bring back American imperialism, supported actual and last but not the least, just signed a deal with Israel helping them genocide more Palestinians. This video is not going to be a detailed biography of Thiel, but rather an examination of his ideology and personality. If you want a good video on his biography, then I'll be sure to link a few videos down in the description below. But to give you guys a quick recap, here is Peter Thiel's life in a short presentation. Thiel was born in Germany, then moved to the US, and then to the apartheid South Africa of its time, and then back again to the United States. His parents were supposedly staunchly Republican and evangelicals, a part which he denies. However, it would certainly explain his support for the Israeli state given his supposed evangelical background, including other reasons I'll be talking in this video. I have made other video talking about why American evangelicals support Israel devoutly, and the link is in the description. Thiel seemingly did pretty well in school and graduated valedictorian and went to study philosophy at Stanford, where he founded a newspaper called the Stanford Review. The Stanford Review was unapologetically conservative for its time, in the late 80s, when most of the other students in Stanford were speaking out against the apartheid regime in South Africa. Meanwhile, Thiel's interest lay in other things. He wrote about liberal professors who were closeted Marxists and writing opinion pieces attacking inclusion of non-white people in Western culture course in Stanford. There was also an incident where Thiel wrote a piece defending a Stanford senior who was charged with a case of assault. Overall, totally not a very unbiased newspaper. After college, Thiel went on to go author a book with his college buddy with this guy named David Sachs, and the book was called The Diversity Myth. The book includes some shocking arguments defending and blaming women for getting sexually assaulted. In his own words, he blames the phenomenon of blaming men for rape and said a lot of pretty horrifying things. But later on he apologized, saying that he wished that he had never written those words. Whether you believe him or not, it's really up to you, but it's pretty clear this guy has not got a good track record so far. But wait, it gets way worse. Thiel later founded his own hedge fund called Thiel Capital and invested in this promising startup by a cryptographer named Max Levchin. In just a year, Thiel became the CEO of the company. And what was the company? PayPal. The service that had revolutionary potential, a digital wallet, he said could lead to the erosion of the nation state. Totally not concerning. At the same time, another person from South Africa was trying to create a similar digital transaction system, and it was Elon Musk and his company X. And this is not the X that we kind of know as of today. It was a transaction system and not a social media as today. Also, can I ask why South Africans coming over to America are genuinely up to no good at all and want to make everything worse? In short, a lot of things happened and both companies were losing money and decided to merge into a single entity under the name X. Peter Thiel became the executive vice president and Musk as the CEO. After a while, when Elon Musk was on his honeymoon, PayPal employees launched a coup ousting Musk by threatening to resign and having Thiel instated as the CEO. After a lot of shady business activities, he sold PayPal to eBay for about $1.5 billion. Following the 2001 9/11 attacks on the Twin Tower, Thiel supposedly became increasingly consumed by the threat posed by Islamic terrorism and became skeptical of immigration and of all other forms of globalization. This was one of the supposed reasons that led to Thiel creating Palantir in 2003. By now you must have heard about Palantir and how borderline creepy or unsettling it is, but what exactly is Palantir? It's a complicated question because even employees from Palantir struggle to answer it, but I'll try my best to answer it in very simple words. Imagine you're a detective in a city of over 1 million people and you're looking for this man of interest. Every day, thousands of phone calls are made, bank transfer happen, security cameras capture faces, and massive internet activity takes place. Now all of this information is technically there, but it's a big mess and it will take you ages of digging to find out enough information about this man you're looking for. This is where Palantir comes in. Think of Palantir as this giant sorting machine that takes all the available data, sorts and organizes everything. It takes information from you from every possible nook and cranny in your digital footprint and presents and organizes it. In other words, your life is basically there in a single worksheet. Now, if you were to take it into a larger scale, what you basically have is an extremely powerful tool which can predict even the future up to a degree, like uncovering a network before an attack, or in a more nefarious thing, it can be used to spy and collect data on everyone including you. And the worst part is that it's actually happening. Trump is working with Palantir as we speak right now, and Palantir has access to information of thousands of American bank account details, student debt, and disability statuses. In 2009, Thiel wrote an essay in which he stated that he no longer believed freedom and democracy were compatible, and that the vast increase in welfare beneficiaries and extension of voting rights to women had rendered the notion of capitalist democracy into an oxymoron. So basically, it's fair to say that this guy who doesn't believe in democracy and women's rights is basically in charge of handling all your private information. Now, if we talk about Thiel's political activities, this is where it gets really confusing, and researching this has genuinely given me a hemorrhage. So Thiel identifies as a libertarian Republican, just like most other power-hungry rich people, and has endorsed people like Ron Paul and McCain for presidents before. In 2016, Thiel endorsed Trump and donated $1.25 million to his campaign. Now, the funny part is that he had supported Gavin Newsom, who is a Democrat, in his legalization of marijuana, and noted that Thiel deeply cared about criminal justice reform and had done a lot of behind-the-scene good work on marriage equality as a gay person himself. By 2022, he had become the largest donor to the Republican Party with about $32 million. In 2023, he said that, quote, has lost interest in democracy and that he wouldn't be giving money to any politician, including Donald Trump, in his next presidential campaign. He even proceeded to call Trump a clown, but so far he seems pretty happy with what Trump is doing in terms of deregulation. What makes Thiel so dangerous is the contradictions. This man has no principle and hence can make reckless decisions and justify it. He is a perfect example of the world we kind of live in, a world with no real collective values, no sense of responsibility for one another. An openly gay conservative Republican, a libertarian who preaches anti-democratic values, a nationalist who wants to destroy the state, an anti-immigrant but also an immigrant himself, has 2 young daughters but speaks out against women getting the right to vote, and a Christian who wants to cheat debt. The most dangerous part of Thiel is that he appears to not totally be driven by profit and financial incentives for what he's doing. Rather, it's an ideological battlefield that he's playing, and what he wants is like-minded people near him and in positions of power.
Are you planning to support the president this time?
You know,
The former president, I should say.
You hold a gun to my head. I'll vote for Trump. I'd rather have him vote than Biden. I'm not going to give any money to his super PAC.
Which you could argue is way more sinister than being a billionaire and wanting to exploit cheap labor and maximize profit, which is what we expect from most rich people nowadays. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please do me a small favor and like and subscribe to the channel to support me to make more future videos for you guys, and take care.